How do you measure the quality of a coffee? Is there a way to remove subjectivity and accurately measure the sensory quality of a coffee? I believe there is. But the most difficult part of this task is that of all the variables that go into coffee, the most inconsistent is the human element. But the human experience of every coffee is the most critical and the most difficult to communicate. Recently, I spent a day with Roast Ratings, and I learned how they measure a coffee's quality and communicate it in a language of the everyday person. Check it out. That's Brian Miller. He's one part of the team here at Roast Ratings. The other half of the team is Holly Bastian.
No, I know we started Roast Ratings in 2015, actually, so it's just turning 5 years this year. It was definitely a time when specialty was kind of a little more on in a snobbish mode. And, you know, I think every professional goes through that at some point. But we were just, I think, collectively trying to back off on the roasting, and Pete and I were noticing a lot of underdevelopment, which we thought was kind of tragic. And the other thing that we saw is like the systems that we'd been using at that point to evaluate coffee were geared towards green coffee buying and not really about the finished product that you serve to the customer. So that's when we decided we should do it with like home units and try to keep it approachable and still hold to a higher standard and explain why we're holding to that standard.
So was it like tasting coffees for 6 hours straight? Actually, it was a lot of fun. See, unlike a regular cupping where silence is the norm, Roast Ratings tasting is like an ongoing conversation about each of the judges' experiences with that particular cup.
Not even worth a cent. Not even a quarter to.
Also, unlike a normal coffee cupping, where each coffee is given a score really on a scale of 60 to 100, Roast Ratings gives each of their coffees a score up to 5 stars.
And we also wanted to create a system where you could score 100, like a full points, or you could score 0 points. Like either were possible, which in all of the cupping systems at the time, 0 is not possible. On the SCA score sheet, I think that the scale goes to 10, but it starts at 6. Well, we want to be able to do commodity and specialty on the same score sheet as well, because we recognize that consumers don't see the difference. Like we do, and we think it's clear, but to them it's still really foggy. And I don't know the last time you went to a grocery store aisle, but it's really confusing, even for professionals. At the 5 stars, basically we score on a scale of 0 to 50. 0 to 50, and palate makes up 3 sections here: aroma, body, and then aftertaste. And the middle section is weighted, the flavor balance of acidity, sweetness, and bitterness. And you'll see that scale, like I said, it goes up to 5 and back down on acidity. And then your drinkability kind of covers points. And then basically when we finish this up, we double that score that it gets out of 50. And every 10 points represents a star level rating. So 90 plus is a 5-star, 80 is a 4.5, and so on and so on. And we've had a half star. It was a green issue. I mean, it was roasting some, but it tasted like pickles. It was like just really defective coffee.
Currently, Roast Ratings isn't monetized, so they offer valuable insight from industry experts and marketing materials to roasters, as well as insight for consumers, and they do all of that for free.
Well, we've worked for roasters. All of us have worked for roasters, and so we know that every penny counts to a roaster, very much so. And if you're gonna submit coffee, you want a return on that. We didn't want to make it too crazy for people. We want to make it accessible. And again, that conflict of interest. Don't want to charge money, because then, you know, maybe people think you paid for a score. And we try to be super fair. It's blind even to us, as you saw today. We have no idea what we're tasting, and we're wrong when we guess.
And while Roast Ratings' website is already a wealth of information for both roasters and consumers, there's one more frontier that Brian and Holly would like to conquer next.
You know when you go to the liquor store and you're trying to buy wine, for me it's just overwhelming. And those tags at least, like, serve as some sort of system to sift out what's really good based on someone who knows what they're talking about. And I just can't imagine that wouldn't sell more coffee. But we've got some people kind of lined up in the wings that work with grocery store coffee, like have stuff on the shelves. We'd like to get more in front of consumers, and I think that's probably the easiest way.
Brian and Holly were the primary scoring judges. Myself, Nick, and Mike were all acting as guest judges, and it was really a great time getting to hear their experiences with each of these coffees and measure that alongside my own. I'll put a link in the description below with the website to Roast Ratings, where you can read the reviews of the coffees that we tasted on that day, as well as a few more that they tasted the following day. A big thank you to Brian and Holly for letting me come and taste alongside them, bring my camera and take some video. I hope it wasn't too distracting for everybody. Also, big thanks to you. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I will follow up with them there or in a later video. And wherever you are, I hope you have a blessed day, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.